Good morning. Well, it's morning here where I am. There's the light, there's the mess. So, I got a comment and a very kind viewer said they really prefer to see painting and not talking. And while I do enjoy talking about watercolor, today we're going to paint, and I'm also going to kind of get over my resistance and blocks, and yes, it's a huge mess around me. So if you feel like this is, you know, preventing you from painting, I understand you. As a messy person, I find it also hard to focus when I'm surrounded with mess, and I'm usually surrounded with mess. So we are going to paint, and I really encourage you, unless it's impossible, to just grab your supplies and paint along with me. We're going to have fun because that's what we're here for. I might pull out something pretty exciting that I have, and I have a few kind of reservations about this product, but it is a lot of fun and I kind of want to show you. So I'm saying let's just play around. Now, I really like the more photogenic angle of kind of looking you know, like you're next to me, but I know a lot of you prefer the kind of overhead, you know, bird's eye view, where you can see what I'm doing and you can see the palette and everything. So I understand that that's what we're going to do. It doesn't look as nice on camera, but we're not here for like videography value, because if you are, you're on the wrong channel. We're here to paint and enjoy and have fun with watercolors. So today we're going to just explore that whole concept of intuitive painting. I don't have anything planned. That's a part of the thing. It's about the practice, it's about the creative process, and kind of fighting resistance, and, you know, feeling that you have to have certain things done before you actually sit and paint. So if you are struggling, if you are blocked, if you just, you know, just want to hang out and paint, we're doing that today. Grab your paints, spray them with some water, grab a few other things you like to use with your watercolors. In my case, it's my trusty Neocolors and probably some pencils. We're just going to have fun. So I hope you will join me. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Irit. I'm a watercolor and mixed media artist. I am in Austria, in Europe, coming to you live. No, it's not live. Coming to you from beautiful Austria. It's a lovely, crisp, frozen day here, but it is, well, it's not February anymore. It's March, but it's still acceptable. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of it, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down so I know what you want to see or what you don't want to see. It's all very helpful. Leave me a comment. All these things are very, very much appreciated by me and by myself and by the YouTube algorithm. So it really, really helps me to kind of, it really helps YouTube show my channel to new people. So please, please take the time to thumbs up or down and leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what you're painting, and yeah, let's stop talking and get painting. Okay, the first thing I did was spray my paint and remove some cat hair. Clean your color mixing surface, or if you like to use palette dirt, that is a very acceptable and admired technique. Or yeah, it's cool. I just like to start my paintings usually with more vibrant colors, and then I go a bit more into the neutral. So I have clean water here. They don't look clean, but they are clean. Just the bottom of the pickle jar is, well, it has seen better days when it had pickles in it. I'm going to start and play around in my little logbook, but I just wanted to show you that I have made these sketchbooks, and I'm going to use them to create kind of a homemade version of a sketchbook, logbook. This is more, I call it a logbook or like a reference book. So I want to make my own version with better paper. And yeah, we're going to be doing that in these, in my online school. So if you want to join that fun, more details coming soon. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and my newsletter, and you will be notified. So I really haven't painted in a hot minute, and I don't know what I'm in the mood for. So I like to start with just some color play. I'm going to grab, I don't want a large brush because I'm not, like I don't want to use too much paint. So I'm just going to take a small brush, something I have on hand, and just see what I'm feeling. So most days I feel like using pink. So I'm trying to just like create a little kind of mood board to see what I'm feeling today. This is one of the things that I highly, highly recommend. Spend time kind of discovering how you feel about colors. This is my my well for Bright Rose from Holbein. This is my ride or die favorite pink of all times, but I don't know, recently it's really, really dry. Maybe I should just give up this. It's not super old. I kind of, you know, refill this well often. But I'm having kind of a hard time getting to full intensity. Just to give you, I sprayed these at the same time to give you an idea. This is Carmine from Van Gogh. Just look at that intensity. And then next to it we have Quinacridone Rose, which suddenly looks, it looks next to the others, it looks dull, but it's a very vibrant color. This is Quinacridone Rose from Danile Smith, which I love. So you can see, I don't know, I'm just not getting the intensity that I want from my Bright Rose. Needs maybe some more tender love and care. So today, what am I feeling? So usually my biggest decisions are my yellows and pinks, and then after that everything comes together. So I'm just going to make a little swatcheroo. And see what I'm feeling. Okay, I'm definitely leaning towards more gold today. This is Nickel Azo yellow. Still a very beautiful color. I don't know. What am I feeling today? It's a good question. So I'm just going to put some colors that I love. This is Cobalt Violet. This is Rose of Ultramarine. A little bit of that. Lavender. A bit of lavender. A bit of ultramarine blue. Bit of teal, and maybe a tiny bit of green. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my brush down and come in, not with my pastels, I think, or maybe kind of liking these colors today. Take a look, see what feels exciting to you today. And pencils. It's just, my problem with pencils lately is just they don't give me enough. You know, with the pastels I get a nice thick application, makes me happy. The pencils, not so much. Like it's better for like details, but not when I want a nice punch. Okay, so I feel like this is very colorful and I kind of want a bit, I need a bit neutrals, which I can mix later. Then also, like, which dark color do I want to add? So we have here Moon Glow. And I love creating these little kind of mood boards because it happens fast, and you know, if you put them all in a little sketchbook, you have that later for reference if, you know, on a day where you don't want to do a mood board. Okay, so I'm going to grab a larger piece of paper. I am liking these colors. I'm just taking a look to see if there's something else that is calling me here. Maybe the dark turquoise. And then I want to arrange these in a pleasing order, because for some reason that's also important to me. Makes me happy. So here we are. Now I want to show you these. These I found. These are Del Green. This is called Gouache. It says Gouache Color Paint Stick. It says artist grade. Now, all of the information is in, it says made in China, so I'm assuming it's in Chinese. So I can't tell you what is in this. If, you know, it's really artist grade, I wouldn't trust that, but these are incredible. So this is the white, and this is just the most opaque. This is like, you won't believe this thing. I am actually really excited about this. I've never seen a product like this. Now, if you're looking at this and you're thinking this is like just like a thick oil pastel, like what is she going on about? Why is this so exciting? Okay, so first of all, it comes in really cute colors, but that is also true for oil pastels, as we know. Now, I don't want this to become about these sticks, but the amazing thing about them is they have the behavior of like nice, not like super soft, like oil pastels like Sennelier that are just incredibly creamy to the point that it's sometimes like hard to use them. These are not as soft as that, but they are very soft. Like I don't have to apply any pressure to get the product on my paper. What is amazing about these is that you put them on, they are like oil pastels, but if you wait a bit, they dry. They dry and nothing comes out. I haven't seen anything like this. I want major manufacturers to do this for us, because if you're familiar with oil pastels, like you might also find it problematic that, you know, you can't really use them in sketchbooks because you have to like fix them, or, you know, fixate them. Otherwise they get everywhere because it's just like this creamy, oily product on your pages. It's fine for paintings, but I also know that like I've tried using a fixative for oil pastels, and it doesn't do a very good job. You have to kind of figure out how to really get them to stay put. They're not like oil sticks that dry, but these are amazing. These dry. I'm not going to like rub my fingers here because the watercolor is still wet, but you put these on and it's dry. It's not going anywhere. It's amazing. So I have this set here of these beautiful macaroon colors. Then I also have a larger set which I haven't really played with. So this one has more vibrant colors. And I love adding oil. Like, I love using oil pastels in my paintings, but I don't do it because it's like, it just gets everywhere. These don't. But because these are not artist grade, you can see they're a little bit like this color. The yellow is a little bit transparent. Because they're not artist grade. Hey everyone, Editing Irit here. I just wanted to say, I know this says on it that it's artist grade, but for me, if it's not a known manufacturer that I know tested the products, and even then, you know, there are still questions when companies do their own independent testing. So I don't feel comfortable, you know, labeling this as artist grade. I feel it's the sort of kind of words you can put on a product and nobody would actually check it. So that's what I mean when I say it's not artist grade. I know the product says that, but I don't know this company. I don't know this brand. It's not a major manufacturer, so I can't just accept that for, you know, if I wanted to use these on art that I sell for a high price tag, I would be too scared. But if you know anything about it, then by all means, share your information in the comments. I would love to know. And now let's get back to the video. I wouldn't recommend to use them on your, if you sell your artwork, I wouldn't recommend it. But for playing around or for your own art, if you are, let's say, you know, worst case scenario, I don't know, they change color on you or disappear or whatever, I don't even know what could happen. But they are so much fun to play with. And they dry, you can play with them in your sketchbook. That to me is amazing. And then the white, I'm going to show you how the white is. It's like you haven't seen such an opaque white. It's like amazing. Look at that. It's so opaque. I'm waiting for these to dry. They're not completely dry. So it does mix a little bit, which I also like. I like that effect, but it's so opaque. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I love these and they're super fun to play with. But yeah, they're not artist grade. I don't know how they formulated this thing, but I wish that, you know, someone like Sennelier came up with such a product. You can reactivate them with water, but from the little bit that I played, I hadn't played a ton with them, you don't really move them a lot. You kind of have to work hard to get them. So I don't know, I'm kind of excited about these, but also the fact that I don't know how they're made, what is in there, how they will behave over time. I think they're just like great for playing in your sketchbooks or paintings that, you know, you don't plan to sell or hope will last for decades. But for playtime, so fun. Of course, also for kids, this would be super fun. Yeah. Okay, let's bring out bigger papers. Okay, I'm going to switch to voiceover because I just wanted to be in the moment and paint and not have to talk my way through it. So one of the things that I have, I guess, adopted is just I want every part of my process to be joyful. Now, this also takes into account the fact that the finished painting might not be, you know, my best work or something I want to frame or anything like that. But if I had fun while making it, and if I paid enough attention and made sure that every color I put on the paper was a color that I loved, usually I'm pretty happy with the result, or the result becomes irrelevant. Let's say it like this. So I really like to start with pastels. These are mostly Neocolor 1 from Caran. If you're not familiar, there's Neocolor 1 and there's Neocolor 2. And Neocolor 1, both are wax pastels. Neocolor 1 is water resistant and Neocolor 2 is water soluble. The difference besides that is that Neocolor 2 comes in a much larger range of colors, which is very frustrating because I tend to like those kind of unique tertiary colors like violets and mint colors. And yeah, so I do use a few of the Neocolor 2, and I have found in my experience that if you don't disturb them too much, they still, because they are still waxy, they still resist the watercolor and give me the effect that I want, and I can just use the colors that I love. So they are water soluble, and if you kind of, pick at them with your brush, they will react with the water. But if you're just like delicately brushing over them, which is what I tend to do, they work very, very similarly to the Neocolor ones. So that's just like a little tip, which also means that if you just have the Neocolor 2 on hand, you can also use my technique and kind of use them still as a resist. Again, you have to kind of go over them lightly, but they're not going to just, spread around and react on you. They're still quite waxy in consistency. So yeah, that's a tip for you. I'm using my beloved Tracy Lebenzon Handmade brush, my little magic wand. That's like my go-to, and I'm going to use it up until the point where I feel like I need just a bit more detail, and then I'm going to switch to my other current favorite, which is the Tintoretto brush. I will link all the supplies below and you can check them out. So I don't paint a ton of abstracts, even though that just like concept or subject is more appealing to me these days. I usually paint florals or places that I've been to and I love, like the beach, like I grew up next to the beach, or, places I've traveled to and I really love and want to go back. So yeah, but today I just wanted to put some paint on paper, and I really encourage you to make this whole experience fun. And that means you might need to switch off your phone and maybe put on your favorite audiobook or, playlist or podcast, whatever kind of gives you the freedom to just sit and paint and just makes you feel good. My creative process and my painting time is therapy. It's fun. It's not about producing a painting that I can sell. It's about just the joy of the experience. And I'm not saying this is everyone's experience. I'm not saying this should be everyone's experience, but I'm definitely process based as opposed to, result based. I want to enjoy the process, and it didn't happen overnight. It's been years in the making, finding colors I love, products that work for me, the perfect brush for me, the right paper, watercolors, and then other supplies that help me make the most of my painting time. So I really encourage you to be very mindful as you're painting. And if things are not working, not to just like give up, but try to really put your finger on what is not working. If you're not enjoying the technique that you're using, if you're not engaged with, your subject that you're painting, I really find, for me, I need to be emotionally invested. And I don't mean this in like, it doesn't have to be deep. It just has to be, you have to feel something. And for me, it goes to just like, I love this shade of pink. It makes me happy to paint with this shade of pink. That is as deep as it can be certain days. Or I love these lines that this pencil is making. But I really feel like if you're, let's say, following a tutorial, painting, learning how to paint, I don't know, roses or a beach or something like this, I really felt I did those things, and I feel, I'm not saying that you shouldn't, you have to learn, and there's a certain journey to take, but I really believe that at some point, and I think you should push yourself for that point to be earlier and earlier in your journey, you have to make things very personal to really have that emotional involvement and connection to what you're doing, and find as much independence as you can. Obviously, especially when you're starting out, you're not that familiar with the medium. You don't know what it can do. Maybe you're not aware of a lot of materials that are out there or a lot of different styles of painting. And it takes time to find the products, the teachers, the techniques, whatever, for some people, it's like you have to discover these things. They don't just appear to you. But if you're not, sitting down and having the best time and feeling relaxed and enjoying, try to understand why that is. Is it your environment that is stressing you? Is it the subject you don't like painting? Maybe you want to paint bigger than you are, or you want to paint smaller than you are. Your brush is not working as you wish. The colors, you don't have to listen to someone telling you you have to use this shade of pink to paint a flower. You have to listen to that if you're trying to exactly paint reality. Then that's fine. Then that's good advice. If someone tells you, this shade of green is as close as it gets to the real color of a rose leaf, that's fine. But if you're not in the business of painting things exactly as they are in reality, which I'm definitely not, that is like, I want to get away from that. I feel that as a constraint. Just use what you love, use your favorite green color, or don't use green at all. Make your leaves gray. Just find you in your process, continue to learn, continue to be inspired by other people, but pay attention to what is making your painting time fun and what is not, and then let go of those things. So I haven't painted in quite a long time for me, so a couple of weeks or something like this. To me, that's a long time, and it takes me, it's challenging to get back into the habit. But when you have all of those, happy things around you, the process, the products, it's not as hard. You just have to like sit down, show up, and just do it, just go for it. So I had a really good time. It was very relaxing. And you can probably see, if you've watched my channel, if you know me, you know that I'm using all of my favorite things. I don't know if I learned a lot of new things in this session, but I had a lot of fun, and it definitely, I feel that it's going to be easier to sit down and paint, the next day or today or whenever. So there's no shortcut. You just have to sit down and paint. And if something is keeping you from it, then try to think what it is and kind of remove that obstacle. Also, if you're like me, if you have more than one creative outlet, so for me, I have started crocheting. If you didn't know, I have a little crochet channel where I share my crochet adventures. I started crocheting in the end of 2020 when we were kind of, in the second winter or the first real winter with the pandemic. And I just felt I needed something to help me relieve stress. And not that, I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very privileged I didn't have to worry about, work or money, but I worried about, obviously, the pandemic, and I was, it was more isolated than usual. I work from home, so I'm pretty, I don't meet a lot of people during the week. I don't get out of the house besides, driving my kids to places on, or I don't have to get out of the house. And having things on lockdown, having things closed, not being able to travel. My family lives in a different country, not being able to see my family for over a year. All those things made life, just harder. And painting, I love painting. It's my happy place. It's therapy. It's everything. But I do need a setup. I can't paint in the way that I love to paint in front of the TV. And so I needed something else, and that was crochet. And I really feel if you have several ways, if this is not your your day job, and I know for most of you it's not. If you're doing this, if you're painting to relax and it's your hobby, your fun hobby, and you do other things that are creative, then don't beat yourself up. I think as long as you're doing something that is helping you and that you're enjoying, that's good. And, one day it can be painting and the next day it can be knitting. For me, it's crocheting. And I don't beat myself up too much about it. Yes, painting and, making courses and doing YouTube videos, that is my day job. But I've also learned that you can't force the creative process. And as long as you show up and paint or create something, you're in the right direction. Or at least that's what I think. And that's what I tell myself. And yeah, so I have crocheted a lot. And actually, I find also that process very fascinating. It's completely different because, painting is, I would label it, I'm not saying something is better, something is superior, but I do feel like painting is an art form and something like crocheting is a craft that you can kind of elevate and take it to kind of the next level and make pieces that are, textile art. I'm not there yet at all, but I still feel like the way to kind of find your way, and I'm going to use very loosely the word master, but I mean, not necessarily master the craft in knowing it, back and forth, knowing everything. That takes a lot of time. It takes years and a lot of learning, but kind of mastering that, finding your perfect process, your super happy place. I feel like doing that in watercolor, that took me years. But now with crochet, I feel like I can get there faster because of all the lessons that I learned. So yeah, I'm really enjoying doing both. And I really feel as long as I'm doing something creative and not just staring at the screen or scrolling on social media, I'm good. So you saw me add those paint sticks at the end. These are so fun. I don't know what to tell you. They're super fun. So here are some close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you painted along. And if you didn't, then I hope you get to sit and paint. Enjoy, relax this wonderful medium. I will see you soon in another video. Take care. Bye-bye.